program folder, this is where, we've got a program folder here and a sample folder. Program folder is where it puts the actual files, so is where it will, in this case, put the sound font. Sample folders would be where it put the individual audio samples. Sound fonts are a funny one. Well, they're a bit unique in the fact that the samples and the program file are all contained in one file, so a sound font can actually be quite big, unlike other formats where they have for example, EXS24, where you have the EXS24 file in one place and you have a folder with all your samples somewhere else.
Just quite a quick point, probably quite a good one. Is this all for Mac, or can it be used on Windows as well? So all these software that you're describing tonight?
Well, EXS24, is obviously is just Logic. Yeah, that's Logic. But I could have used anything, Contact or Gigasampler. But Translator is Windows as well. Yeah. Okay.
And the Chicken?
That's it. The Chicken Systems is Translator. That's Windows as well. Yeah.
Chicken.
Okay, so the program folder, this is my destination folder where I want to save the sound font. Okay, so the best place to put this, I normally just put it straight in the Eigenharp sound font folder. So if I go to, it's basically user library, and then Eigenlabs, and then there's a folder in there somewhere called SoundFont. Stick that in SoundFont. Okay, so I'm just going to put it straight in there, press select, and then OK here. Finish translating, so that was pretty quick. There's only one sample in it. Okay. Okay, so now that's done, I can go to Eigen. So I'm just going to check that's all worked. So I'm using release 1.3.13 here. I'm going to go to Tools, Eigen Browser, and I'm going to choose the sound font in the normal way. So first of all, I need to go to the advanced controls. I'll just do it in sampler 1. So advanced controls for sampler 1, this is on the alpha of course, is up here in the corner. And then I have my sound font browse button, this orange key here. So I click that, and then in the browser we get the list of sound fonts, and you can see this one here, old piano. And hopefully, I'm just going to put my headphones on so I can hear. Okay, so now if I choose sampler 1, I've loaded in this old piano sound. Lovely. So, there you go, it's a pretty horrible sound, but there you go, it's quite simple to create. And there's other ways of doing this as well. So there's a piece of software that you can create sound fonts from scratch, completely from scratch, so you wouldn't need to go through the process of creating an EXS24 or Contact instrument. You can actually just build it in a dedicated sound font editor. And that piece of software is called Polyphontics. So I'll get that up on the screen as well. You can find it at sonicamigos.com. So that's, you hopefully see that in the bottom corner, sonicamigos.com. And the piece of software is called Polyphontics. I'm not sure I wrote down the price actually. But if I have a look here, Polyphontics. So there you go, that's how you spell it, Polyphontics. And this one lets you, basically it's a dedicated editor for sound fonts, so you can load in your audio samples straight away and map them all out across the keyboard, just like you would if you were creating an EXS24 instrument or any other kind of sampler instrument. And then the other way of doing things is this piece of software called Auto Sampler, which is also great. And that's from a company called Redmatica. And this costs the European price is €99.95. And it's from Redmatica. And the piece of software is called Auto Sampler. So that's this one here. Yeah, so there you go, Auto Sampler. And what this does is it's very cool. It lets you basically you connect it to either an external MIDI instrument or you can do it with software instruments. So if you have a software audio unit instrument or VST synth plugin that you like, what you can do is turn on this piece of software, and what it will do is it will go through every note of the keyboard one at a time and play it into your audio unit or VST synth. So you just say, okay, MIDI note 1, it plays it, but it also at the same time it records the output. So it automatically goes through every note. You can do different velocity layers as well. And it will go through every note, record it for you, and then it will package it all together in any sampler format you want, basically.
Will it export auto sampler export to SoundFont?
Well, it might actually only do XS24 in this new version, because there's a new version basically, and I used to use it for SoundFonts, but funnily enough, I was looking at this today, and it says here that it only, the ones it lists on the main thing are EXS24. Here we go. EXS24, contact, structure, NNXT, and key map. So possibly not on the new version. I haven't looked in detail at it.
Okay. And will it work with external MIDI keyboards?
Yeah, absolutely. So it works really well. This is how we created some of the sound fonts that you get with the alpha. So it works really well. Yeah, you just set a few options and set it going, and yeah, exactly, it will do external MIDI instruments. So like one day, yeah, we want to go and find a load of, you could maybe hire some old synthesizers and just for the day or two and just sample them all or something like that. But yeah, so that's Auto Sampler. So they're the pieces of software that we've used to create sound fonts. So that's Chicken Systems Translator, Polyphontics from Sonic Amigos to create them from scratch. CDExtract.com is another version of Translator, which I've used quite a lot and got successful results from. And then finally, there's that Auto Sampler, which is a really cool way of creating sampler instruments and sound fonts. And then finally, I mentioned that freesound.org. If you haven't found that already, that's a really good place to find a load of samples for free that you can, as long as you credit the creator, you can use them in whatever you want. Okay, so that's sound fonts. The next thing I was going to talk about was this controlling effect audio units from the Eigenharp's keys. So this is a little bit more of an advanced bit. It's going to involve some bel canto.
Just before you go on,
yep.
Gert's just saying for Windows there is a new editor called Vino.
Okay.
VIENO, and Polyphontics is for Mac only.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't realise that. Okay.
Vino, VIENO.
Okay, so VIENO, Vino.
No, VIENA.
VIENA.
That's
for Windows. Okay. Cool.
Just for those
for the Windows people. Yeah, of course. Okay.
Okay. So now you got your.
Now I'll do the question bit. Okay. So I'm going to do this. What I'm going to do is create. Basically, I'm going to create a new output on key group 2. So my idea is create a new output on key group 2. Then I'm going to use key group 2 to control an inline effect on one of the sampler instruments. So when I press different keys, it's going to send MIDI notes to the inline effect, and it's going to change the effect for me. So this is a bit similar to some of the seminars we've done before. For example, creating audio unit rigs and creating MIDI rigs. It's along those kind of lines, but there's some slightly different things, and it's a little bit easier. So the first thing to do, as usual, is open the Eigen commander. Okay, so as I said, I'm going to use key group 2. So the first thing I need to do is create my key group outputs. If you remember, the key group output is, I'll get close so you can see the lights. So if you remember, each one of these lights, when I hold down the mode key, is called a key group output. And a key group output basically connects to something downstream. It could be an instrument, or it could be a set of controls or talkers. And so each one of these is a key group output. What I'm going to do is create a brand new key group output for controlling this inline effect, and I'm going to put it just here, which is on key 8 of key group 2. So we find the key group number by starting from the top left and counting down the first course, so 1, 2, 3, 4, top of the second course and down. So this is key 8 I want to do, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'm going to create an output on key group 2 on key 8. So first things first is K group 2 hey, and then output 8 create. Okay, and then there's this slightly tricky bit which we've come across before, but I'll explain it again in case people have this is the first one they've watched. Actually, I don't need to show you that. But basically, over every key group, in the current setups, every key group has a second key group overlaid on top of it. So this is a little bit complex, this bit. So key group 2 has a second key group overlaid on it called talker key group 2. And the reason for this is that each key group has a different number of keys. For example, key group 1 has like 22 long